how can I plan for long-term care, a roadmap? As we think about planning for long-term care, we see three massive mistakes that families make when they use home equity. So let's say many of our clients, we have hundreds of clients where the bulk of their estate is held in the value of their home. If you own a home in much of the Bay Area, Mountain View, Los Altos, Burlingame, or Los Angeles, West LA, San diego, your home is worth a lot, right? If you've had it for a long time, you probably have a lot of equity. And a lot of people think, well, I use my home to pay for long-term care. Maybe I'll look at insurance. Maybe I'll try to, save and invest a lot. I don't want to use my home. Be really careful with that, especially if you have kids who you want to help down the road, or if you want to keep a house in the family. There's some big mistakes that we see made. What are the three biggest mistakes? Just to be clear, these are not mistakes in every situation. We're not just giving a blanket, don't ever do this. It's just we want you to understand what these different options can entail and why they can be so bad. So one mistake, people getting reverse mortgages without understanding the downside. You hear a lot of, and nothing against reverse mortgage brokers. There are situations where it can make sense. Two, selling the home. And three, we're going to talk about if you want to keep your home for the next generation, if you watch our other talks, I know we hammer this, but you need to understand Prop 19 in California because it has massive implications for leaving your home to your kids, and especially if you have any other property. Reverse mortgages. So reverse mortgage is where we're the broker and you take equity out of your home. It's not a home equity line of credit. You can actually either get a big cash payout or you can get ongoing monthly payments and you don't have to pay it back till later. Maybe you have to make small payments up front, but the loan is not due until certain things happen. Here's the problem with reverse mortgages, and this relates to capital gains taxes. If you get a reverse mortgage, people think, I don't have to sell my house. The loan's not due until I pass away. And when you pass away, everything in your estate gets a stepped up cost basis, meaning capital gains tax exposure vanishes. It's a huge gift to your surviving family members. So if you've owned your home for a long time, it's probably worth a lot more than you paid. If you sold it today, you might have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in capital gains taxes. So why does this make reverse mortgages a bad idea? Because reverse mortgages typically become due when you move out of your house. So let's say you need long-term care and you have to move to assisted living facility or to, God forbid, a nursing home. Typically, they'll give you 6 months and you can often extend that to a year. And maybe there's different rules for different policies, but it's typically a max of 1 year that you're out of the house before the loan is called. And what does that mean? It means your house has to get sold. And what does that mean? Well, you're selling it while you're still alive. You're going to probably have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in capital gains taxes. If you can find a way to hold on to the house until you pass away, you get the stepped up basis. Your home is an exempt asset when it comes to Medi-Cal eligibility. Now, we know that the asset test is technically going away next year, but it could come back in the future. Or what if you move to another state? They're not so flexible as California. So be really careful with reverse mortgages. Talk to us before you do it. If you don't have kids, if you're not concerned about leaving assets for the next generation, that's okay. We have some clients who don't, and the reverse mortgage made sense. But let's understand it before we jump in. The second mistake, selling the home without understanding the tax implications. Well, we just kind of talked about that. But a lot of people think, well, if I need expensive long-term care, I'll just sell my house. Capital gains taxes are a massive, massive problem. And Medi-Cal eligibility for government programs. So keeping your home, again, in California and other states, your home is an exempt asset for eligibility for Medi-Cal. Houses have always been exempt, your primary residence at least. If you sell the house while you're still living, again, capital gains taxes. Alternative options, by the way, to getting a reverse mortgage or selling your house. One would be getting a home equity line of credit. You might need a child. Hey, kids, let's talk to our parents about this. You might need a child to co-sign on the loan, but a much better option than reverse mortgages because they don't come due when you move out. Maybe you rent out your house to get coverage. Reverse mortgage means you have to pay off the loan right away. If you get a home equity line of credit, maybe that can cover you. Maybe you don't need to sell the house. You rent it out to pay those payments. Really important to understand that option two is you rent the house out. And if you want more income, you do a 1031 exchange. So you don't sell the house and incur a huge capital gains tax bill. You can do a like-kind exchange. We have other videos about 1031 exchanges. And then you don't pay capital gains taxes. You can convert your home equity into a rental property that kicks out a lot of cash to pay for long-term care. So two wonderful ways that are different from just selling the house or getting a reverse mortgage. We have no stake in this. We don't make any money if you get a reverse mortgage or not. We just want to be your advisor there. We want to make sure you're aware of it. So many people come to us after they made that mistake. The third mistake is not planning for property taxes for your kids. So let's say you're right. Okay, I get it, Mark and Mike. I'm not going to sell my house. I'm not going to do a reverse mortgage. I want to keep the house for the next generation.
Yeah, the problem in the context of long-term care is that you, whether you're the parent, the person experiencing the need, the kid who's taking care of the parents, you're so consumed with worry and the anxiety of maintaining quality of care that everything else becomes secondary. But one of the many problems that can result is you don't think about this new development in the law. This is like only a year and a half or 2 years old, this Proposition 19. The best laid plans in terms of saving the home for the next generation, where you don't have a reverse mortgage, you don't have any mortgage, because you want the kids to inherit your house or that nice cabin in the mountains, whatever it may be. So before Prop 19, you could pass along your home and another $1 million, usually one or two other properties to your kids, no property tax increase. So that has changed. Now, let's assume that you have your home and you want it to go to your kids, but they're not going to live in it. The taxes on your passing, because of Proposition 19, will go to maybe $36,000, $37,000 a year. That's over $30,000 a year in increases. That can make it impossible for your kid to maintain the house because they don't have the money to service that property tax liability every year going forward, 10 years, 20 years. It's a massive amount of money. So you have to really be aware of that. Now, if your child, there's one limited exception, if your child makes the home, his or her home, the first $1 million in assessed value is forgiven. So in my simple example, if the home is worth $3.4 million, the new assessed value would be $2.4 million. Property taxes would still go from $3,000 or $4,000 up to about $26,000. So even if your kid lives in the house, that is no answer. That is no panacea. So we have to be thinking second level. What are the family goals? What are your goals? Do you want to have quality of care and preserve the home for your kids? Usually that is the case. So we have to have our eyes open to this looming crisis that befalls your kids at the time of your passing. Again, a dramatic property tax increase. Hardly anybody knows about this.
We've already helped hundreds of families with this. Don't get left behind. So if you do want to leave your home and or any other properties to the next generation in the context of long-term care or not, we've got to plan ahead, and we have developed solutions. And Mike mentioned there are some exemptions for your primary residence under Prop 19. But what if you move out and you rent it out for a while to pay for long-term care? You might lose even those limited protections. We can keep taxes low for the next generation, and we can still capture optimal tax treatment, get the stepped up in basis, if that makes sense. We can keep taxes low and can protect properties for future generations. We developed a multi-step dynasty LLC and trust approach. We have to lock it in now, because once property taxes spike up, if you don't plan and these just go to your kids when you pass away, property taxes go up, they never come back down. We have incredible solutions developed by our tax guru, Francis LaPole. He's uniquely qualified in this area, a real estate expert, a tax expert. I think we were one of the first firms in California, one of the few that truly understands this issue. So let's not make mistakes with our home equity when planning for long-term care. And this is where talking to your kids is so important. Easily contact us at gilfix.com. You can contact us at 650-493-8070, 650-493-8070. And as my mom likes to say, I hope everybody stays safe, sane, and healthy. Let's all stay on top of this. We got your back. Have a great rest of your day.